magic of writing and of reading is that because there is this act of abstraction, because I have to take what's inside of my mind and basically write it out in hieroglyphs, and then you translate it, you become the co-creator of the work in that act of translation. That fascinates me because what I really like in writing or in making videos or in my life is collaboration. Like, I like making stuff with people I like. And that for me is what reading is. And I believe that because readers co-create novels to such an extent, we as readers find ourselves inside the lives of other people so completely that I, at least, become finally convinced of the reality of other people. This raises, by the way, the distressing possibility that my son will not be able to understand that I am important and my sleep is important until such a time as he is able to read. In a strange way, I would argue that this confirms our own existence, because most of our mattering is wrapped up in the context of one another. I spent 3 years writing my first novel, Looking for Alaska, at night and on weekends. I wanted to write that book partly for myself. I was haunted by the ghosts I'd encountered while working as a chaplain at a children's hospital, and I was struggling to reconcile myself to the reality of injustice and loss and guilt, struggling most of all with the massive undertaking of forgiveness. So I wrote it partly for me, but in many ways I was seeking a conversation with readers. I didn't want to make something for an audience. I wanted to make something with an audience. That's why I write books. I want to make stuff with people I like. And that's also why I make videos on the internet. And now we come to Busey. The brilliant thing about the internet is that at its best, it's really different from television or movies or even video games. TV is something that you watch. The internet, like books, can be something that you help create. Like Busey. So, okay, in early 2009, a user to the Something Awful forum uploads a picture of a photoshopped Gary Busey at a convention. Let's take a look at that Busey. There he is. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Gary Busey is a troubled American actor. And something about his face kind of reveals the darkness and pain and terror that's inside of all of us. So when you Photoshop his face onto other people's faces, it's funny, but it's also sad. Because it's true. Like all true things, both funny and sad. All right, so a user uploads this to the Something Awful forums. A few hours later, someone else comments, "I liked your picture, but it needed more Busey." So those are good pictures and everything. But then a couple days later, someone gets on that same forum and says, I don't want to brag or anything, but I think I have created the most important Gary Busey photo in human history. And then someone else responds, "I like your photo. Needs more Busey." And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The most beautiful thing that the internet ever made. Gary Busey family photo. Gary Busey family photo has been viewed more than 200 million times. If we could make books that were as popular as Gary Busey family photo, we would all be rich. I know that Gary Busey family photo is funny, and I don't wish to say that it's anything but funny. But I really would argue that this Gary Busey family photo is significantly better than any of the work that came before it. But it wouldn't have been possible. Wait, can we just? It wouldn't have been possible without all the work that came before it. And that's one of the fascinating things that the internet offers us the opportunity to do, right? The internet offers us the opportunity to mash things up, to collaborate with other people, to break down stupid, antiquated copyright laws, and to say, we will make something beautiful out of Busey. And this ends up, I would argue that this ends up actually being a pretty interesting photograph, because the truth of all staged family photos is that behind those faces is this face. I would argue that this is the essential truth of the posed family photograph in 21st century America. I'm just going to leave that up for a while. Similarly, the viewers of the video blog that my brother and I make are not just watching the content, they're shaping it. Their comments appear on the same page as the video. They upload mashups and animation and artwork to websites like fyeahnerdfighters.com. By the way, those were all the mods. A lot of the people who make F Yeah Nerd Fighters are here tonight. A lot of the people who run it, those of you who are active in our community know that this website is like an amazing compendium of everything beautiful. They post something that's at least as funny as Gary Busey family photo every day. And so I do want to thank them for all the work that they do and for really being an inspiration to us as well as to the rest of the Nerdfighter community. Nerdfighters raised more than $100,000 in 48 hours during our annual charity drive this year. Together, we've built pond sand filters in Bangladesh and delivered plane loads full of medical supplies to Haiti. We've read novels together and built wikis, Wookiees, and designed t-shirts. And as you saw earlier tonight, written songs. The collaborations are as essential to our videos as the collaboration between reader and writer is to the books that I write. Nerdfighters also shape the actual videos that I make. For instance, after I made a series of videos talking about the fraudulent election results in Iran, a Nerdfighter and I had a long conversation in comments over the complexity of encouraging violent revolution. Revolution has a romantic allure, certainly, this Nerdfighter argued. But don't many revolutions fail? And don't even the successful ones have complex consequences? That got me to thinking about the French Revolution. So I did some research, and then I made this video. I don't know how to get out of Busey. No heckling. Just kidding. That was funny, actually. Good morning, Nick. It's Friday. Today I share with you a story about guns, indoor tennis courts, guillotines, humorous outfits, and competing historical narratives. That's right. It's time to learn about the French Revolution. With permission from Nerdfighteria, we have temporarily suspended the 4-minute rule just to get us through this week of educational videos. So those... Thank you. So that video features quite a lot of my face. But I would argue that all of Nerdfighteria really made it. They made it as a result of our conversations about contemporary world events, and the design, which was the funniest part of the video, was done by a Nerdfighter friend, Karen Cabot. We are also connected to each other in this community, and in all our communities, online and IRL, so connected through the stuff that we are making with each other that at this point I find it odd to use the word stranger in all